Oh man, that article still isn't published. Whenever you publish it, we'll talk about it. I was like, wait, that means we got to talk about my stuff. I much prefer talking about other people's stuff.
Well, my article is scheduled to come out on Wednesday, and today is Wednesday, so
Okay, cool, cool.
yeah, yeah. It's all written. I need to figure out a couple ideas for like a video to put in there or something, some kind of image. And I'm drawing a total blank because it's not the kind of article that lends itself
Yeah, it's
to
way
that.
more introspective and city and open mic night, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do
So
you
I'm
have
not
any
sure what to do
pictures
with
from
that.
when you played at the cover band? Played with the cover band?
I do. I do have a couple.
I have
I
a
could throw those in there.
I have a great picture you can use. It's in the media folder under two guys or two I don't remember the title. Do you not know the joke I'm making?
I don't know the joke you're making, but I'm gonna chuckle
I'm
regardless.
gonna blur part of this out because the name is not for the name is for us, and I don't know when we started. Oh, it's called it's called
Oh boy, look at that one. Look at that one.
two
When
total.
is that from? Jesus.
This is where you were Nick Smith and I was Luke Lemack.
Oh man.
I thought maybe you saw it in the instrument porn folder, which is also something that we should just blur out. Look at a.
I hadn't looked.
Then I see this one. This one's who's naming these files? Two guitars, one cup.
Whoever's in charge of the naming scheme needs to be fired. We gotta call HR.
Yeah, and I was going for these super serious interviews. I thought we'd keep things, light and friendly, but just like more to the point, hard hitting, 60 minutes kind of stuff.
Ah, there we go.
All right, well, you take the lead, sir. Dance.
All right, yeah. Well, as a professional cat wrangler, you're a busy person, right?
Yes. I think that the cat wrangler joke is like well, it's probably my ADHD brain, which we find out in a month if I actually am or if I've just been using that as a great excuse forever.
Oh, did you get tested?
Personal. I'm going to get tested next month. So they gotta.
Not what I was asking about.
I have to call a couple people after this. Focus. No, I mean my brain is boop 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 boop, right, and I wear myself out, and probably anybody else that knows me, and I treat a
Yes,
lot.
you are
of
an
stuff.
exhausting person.
I am. You should have to live with me 24/7 and see how that is.
I wouldn't. I've come close. For a brief while. I've come close.
Yeah, it's probably good. We'd probably both be dead. It'd be a double murder, double homicide. Is that how that goes?
That's the same thing.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. No, but I mean, I'm trying to spend. I'm getting close to my 40th birthday. You don't know what birthdays are like, so, and
I
trying to
wouldn't.
spend some
I
time
wouldn't.
in reflection of like, why do I do the things I do? How come I never hand anything in on time? Those kinds of
Mm,
questions, and it's because I say
hmm
yes to a lot of things, thinking that I can do it.
You're a person with trouble drawing boundaries, is what you are.
I am atrocious. But even like
Hmm
personal space boundaries of like time, like, no, I do not have the adequate time to do this. I can't do this in. I think everything can be done in 5 minutes. The reality is everything can be done in 3 hours.
Yeah, you're bad at the estimation. Like if you were a contractor and giving price estimates, you'd be like, oh, it only cost me $500, and $500,000 later, you're in the hole.
Yeah. There'd be a lot of money.
Yeah.
So,
So what I liked about this idea you got, this what did I do this week? To me it could be an every week thing. It could be like a series,
yeah.
something you just do, because it's essentially the idea. And this I learned early on, in my music career, if you want to call it that, is to keep a practice journal,
Mm.
right? So essentially, what did I do this week? What did I do today? And then it's something that when you're consistently working, when you're consistently practicing, and you're consistently improving, you don't realize it.
Yes.
Like you don't see your improvement. in a clear way at all. Maybe in some kind of abstract sense of, oh, I can play this now, and I don't think 6 months ago I could.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know just how different it is, how different your playing is. So when you keep like a journal of what you're working on and why you're working on it and what you were thinking, not only does it make your practice more focused and more like cohesive, I guess, because you can remember, what did I do yesterday? You can just look at it and be like, oh yeah, I was playing at that tempo. But also over a span of time, you're like, oh wow, I've made leaps and bounds, and I can only see it now that I look back at what I was working on exactly then.
And you're hitting it right on the head, the nail. You're hitting the nail on the head. I mean, that's kind of the videos that I'm aiming to do right now, too. So whether it be a blog journal of that and a video journal of it, this is where I think it's different. If we built cars for a living, every month we'd see that new car finished, right? And be like, I did that. And we send that car off the lot, and then it breaks, and then it comes right back to us. But instead, it's a skill set we're learning. You know, and I know I play better than I did 3 months ago, but it's also the video I sent you of the lead guitar the other day where you were like, that's pretty fucking impressive. My words, not yours.
Yeah. No, but that's how I felt, because I wrote to you about it. I was watching it and I was like, is this a cover of a song I don't know?
Yeah.
Because it was, I've known Luc style solos for years now, and that was so different. It was like someone expressing a coherent thought instead of a bunch of random rumblings and ramblings.
So the cat wrangling thing, we're bringing that up again?
Yeah, kind of alluding to it.
But so taking that idea though, I'm like, in your words of, I'll call it encouragement, but your feedback, I'll say, is like, all right, well, I did that on guitar. In the last year, I've not become a drummer yet, but I've gotten close to what a drummer would be. All right, well, I mean, I don't understand why singing's any fucking different, right?
Right.
So all these things are the same thing. You put in a bunch of fucking time, you get compressed, and you turn into a charcoal.
Charcoal, yeah. Definitely not a diamond.
No. You think I'm good at, you think I'm diamond worthy? I'm not diamond worthy.
Unless it's Lucy in the Sky with diamonds. That would be a little different.
Callback joke from the other day. Well, and that's, so kind of going through this though, that's why I did I've been doing those Arpeggio videos because that kicks my ass. I've been doing your kind of warm up that you do. I call it the crawl. I've been doing that video consistently.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then so I do those two as a warm up, and I do that finger exercise where you watch how you release your fingers. So I do that, and then I get started, and I was like, well, bass is not easy. It's not easy to play bass well. But I can tackle it quicker than.
It's easier to get by on bass, I would say. But to play it well, I think is extremely difficult. Yeah. It's as hard as anything. Yeah.
So, but I'm like, that's a great warm up to then go work on lead guitar stuff or to work on this, and I feel like I can have a video in the bag every day, and that's a big thing, right? Like, the minute I don't, even like the last 3 days, I haven't filmed a video. I've just been editing videos. But if I don't, like today, I'm getting antsy. Like that's why I was like texting you. I was like, are we meeting at 2 or are we meeting at 5? Because there needs to be some video shoot. Sure.
Well, no, and I was kind of wondering the same. I was running off the assumption that it was going to be at 2.
Okay. We'll figure that out.
But I also had in my head like, well, it's been a little inconsistent lately. Yeah.
And I'm fine with either. But like today, I'm antsy. Today, I need to film a video because I got 5 in the bag, but I'm looking at next week going, I don't have any. My bag is going to get empty really fucking soon when I finish editing these all.
Right.
So, and I'm getting really close.
Speaking of video, just to kind of like deviate off the article for a sec, because I sent you that picture. I was moving my stuff around last night and rearranging things, and you can probably see that my background's different today. Instead of like guitar cases, there's actual guitars, and
that looks nice.
And things like that. I kind of put a little more thought into it, but I also got this setup now where I don't really need to move anything. Maybe one light needs to move around, and I can actually do shoots that are like guitar or they're like speaking, and I just kind of adjust the height of my chair basically. That's kind of cool.
That was the end all. Like, I just gotta move. No, but what you're saying is the same thing. Like, and I get it. You've given me shit and feedback before. You're like, hey, not everything has to be perfect for these videos. But it still needs to progress, I guess. Where's the fine line between, the cat wrangler and me wants to spend 57 minutes setting up this light that doesn't matter.
Right. Which you can definitely do. Yeah. Even 57.5 minutes you could spend.
For sure. And microphones, we're not even talking about microphones, like the drum set behind me. So it's picking your battle. But it's picking your battles. Like, what is... And I actually, like, during the day, I'll ask myself, I'm like, is this important? Okay, it's not. Move it on. Is it going to get me to that goal? Right. So, yes, your video setup is looking nice. I like it. It's classy. Oh, and then I was going to say how it's important to have stuff set up so you can just turn it on a flick of a switch, right?
Right, because if you've got to do a lot of setup, it's a huge demotivator.
Yeah. Well, and that's where, like, last week Saturday or 2 weeks ago Saturday, I changed my monitor setup here, changed this microphone setup a little bit where I can just sit down anytime, hit record, and record practice. And I think that's my ambition of recording right now, is recording myself practicing and making mistakes, a lot of them maybe.
Right. Well, when you practice, that's kind of part of it. Anyway, let's get back to the article here. So in this one, you mentioned working on bass, right?
Yep. So now, how do you say that first song?
Just a quick. It's a song. Okay. Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
No, but let's just for some background. Like, what's your history with bass guitar?
In my first band, you don't know this. This is great stuff. Great question. Great interviewer. In high school, I started my first band. I was 16 years old. And I was the guitarist in that band until two guitarists joined and they made me the bass player.
So was it two better guitarists than you?
Yeah, they were. And this one kid I think he's probably a senior in high school and I was maybe a junior. Just very Smashing Pumpkins influenced. And liked the alternate tunings and could play all that shit. And I was like, and you'll laugh, but we came here. I grew up in Iowa. We drove to Michigan probably my senior year to record. And surprisingly enough, when I went to track the bass part, I couldn't play it in time.
I wouldn't know anything about issues with you being able to play in time or not.
That was 20 years ago. I'm either the stupidest person on the face of the planet or I have a lot of gumption.
I'd say you're pretty stupid and pretty stubborn.
I am stupidly stubborn. I think that's a good way to say that.
Yeah. Stupidly
stubborn. Yeah. So that's a lot of my history with bass guitar. And actually that Ripper that I have, the black bass, I borrowed that from my high school and never gave it back.
Oh.
Yeah, which is like, it's like a $1,500 bass, like really nice bass. They had it as their jazz band bass and the jazz band was defunct. So they're just like, okay, yeah. And it just kind of went around to different houses. Like people who were more serious about music, and it ended up in my house and has been at my place ever since.
That's actually pretty cool because that's a cool unorthodox bass.
For sure.
Like you don't see a lot of
Gibsons have
basses.
not been known for their basses. That and that RD Artist, I think they were like 5-year production runs, if that. Dude, I had Lightning the other day, Thunder and Lightning, and I was listening to a song, playing along with it, and my speaker shut off.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, and then they wouldn't play, and I shut everything down, turned it back on, and it worked. I was like, oh, okay.
Thought maybe they had blown,
Yeah, but like how? Yeah. Anyway, college.
Well, my speaker problems, just so that I can share my turmoil in my life, is I only can get one to work at a time right now because the switch on the back of these cheap Mackies I have that like chooses which is the powered, the active, it's really, really funky and janky. And it likes to just cut one instead of switch between them.
That's nice. Too bad I don't have an extra set of KRK-8s upstairs, huh?
That's really too bad. That would be great.
If you're only 5 minutes away, I can run them over. If you're over 5 minutes away, I can't run them over. You choose.
Could you run them over with your car though?
Dude, I was gonna text you. This can all be part of it. I don't care. I was gonna text you because my car healed itself.
Whoa, is it a Tesla?
Yeah, no, it's not. I think it's a transformer. So my brakes have been going out, and I was like, I'll deal with this. It's only been like a month, and the other day they just started working again. And I was like maybe mid texting you, and then they stopped working again, and a puddle of brake fluid was just under the car. So like some way, because I don't understand how hydraulic brakes work or brakes work, but it's compression, right? So it must have gotten past the compression part and then gone into the leak part.
Oh dang!
But I have 2 more. I have 2 more days. If you don't hear from me,
You've died in a car accident.
I've died. I thought
Gotcha.
it was going to happen last night, to be quite honest. So yeah, in college, I had to pick an instrument. The instrument was bass, and I started taking bass lessons in college, which was the biggest joke on the face of the planet. It was a 45-minute lesson, and the charge for it was ridiculous. I don't exactly remember, but I'm paying a college professor, right? He sat there uninterested going, yeah, play that again. Yeah, do that one more time.
Oof.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's frustrating.
Yeah. And maybe he could tell that I just wasn't good. So that could have been it too.
I kind of, because I went to that music school in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
And it was a contemporary, like a jazz style school, so it was definitely had guitar. And we had one half hour a week private lesson, which was probably if I was looking at the breakdown of my costs and credits and all that, it was probably an exorbitantly expensive private lesson. Fortunately, I've never looked at that breakdown, and I they were great players and they had lots of useful insight. But what I got out of those private lessons was minimal at best. Like there was a lot of that. Oh, like for example, I'd ask him, I really want to learn this song that I really like, and I'm not good at learning by ear. And this was 12 years ago, or whatever. And I had no idea how to learn songs by ear back then. I didn't even understand the concept. I'm like, it was mind blowing to think that you could hear something and know how to play it to me, right? And he's like, oh, I hear a lot of like roots and fifths, so there's a lot of power chords going on, and it goes about like this. Yeah, it's pretty basic. And I'm like, well, great for you. Now you know how to play it.
It's like
the point of this is that you teach me how to play it.
But you get it, and I think that's the problem with a lot of teachers, though. They teach to hear, but you're here, and it's like this huge distance between these 2 points that I want to get. How do I fucking get there? And show me, just show me.
Right. Teach me, one could say.
Yeah, one would say that's their job. So you don't feel like those lessons were hugely beneficial?
Oh God, no! I extracted probably 2 things from the lessons in all my time at the school, and one was that arpeggios are cool, and that you can use different arpeggios than the chord you're on, and get fun extensions in a kind of an easy way. And the other thing I learned was that fingerstyle guitar is pretty fun.
Oh. I mean, the arpeggio thing has stuck with you, so that, was worth it.
Yeah.
And
That one really made an impact on me, because the guitarist who taught that one, his playing was just incredible.
Really?
And that was his whole approach was based off of triads.
Now, much like I texted you last night and said one thing I've changed in my weightlifting routine is chocolate milk and protein powder. One thing I've changed in my playing, and I do wonder if there's a correlation, though, I changed in my playing is I make those arpeggios every single day. I've been forcing myself to, and I do feel like it's lead me to play just a little bit differently in the last 2 weeks.
I totally believe that.
So that's where I was like, it goes back to this, you want that teacher to show you this, right? But it's also like, I know I've improved on guitar. I kind of I listened to Nic for once. It only took me 3 to 4 years. I did what he told me to do, and I got a response. And then I'm like, if I can just do that, if I can be hyper-focused, which is kind of what this article is about, too. If I can be hyper-focused.
Being hyper?
Sometimes. Change my caffeine routine. No, but if I could be hyper focused on this, all of our these little videos are just going to be callback jokes to the video before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay.
But
it's gonna, it's motivation for people to watch the video that came before so they can be in on the joke. Because everyone wants to be in the insider, right?
People would like to be in this crowd. Really are.
It is a little bit too crowded when there's two of us.
Yeah, they're clamoring at that door. No, but if I can become a lead player after 36 years and 2 weeks, I fucked that up, but you understand the point. There's no reason that I can't improve my singing. There's no reason I can't improve my drumming. It's just small amounts of time over and over again. Or large.
And keeping kind of track of it so that you can kind of see progress. You can think about more. I think that's more it. You're actively thinking about your progress. Yeah. Whereas if you're never even writing something like a journal, or which is basically what this article is, then you really don't even think about, well, what have I been doing? It's like a reflection moment, right?
Well, it goes back to that product thing. I very much grew up in a family that we worked hard and we had a product at the end of the day. And I struggle with that in this job. Mm-hmm. I struggle not knowing what I did.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
And especially because we may not see results on certain things for 6 months.
Right.
So to put all that time, even today, I posted a new video and I'm like, all right, well, where are those 100,000 views now? It's not that game.
Right.
And to be okay with that. But I think, like you said, maybe I'll just keep this idea going of journal and blogging. Journal blog.
No, I like it. And it kind of helps in a strange way. It helps me too, because it's like, oh yeah, it reminds me to think about what I've been doing. Yeah. Right. And so obviously I should probably do something similar.
Yeah, but I think yours are. I think yours are more a little bit big picture, that's what I enjoy about them. And an article coming out soon by you did motivate me to go play out the other day, which I think you're controlling me.
You just don't see the strings, which is the point.
I'm Pinocchio. I do want to be a real boy someday. And I'm kind of breezing through this, but I think routine is key. Mm-hmm. Us having some deadlines that we both are aware of. Me knowing, I try to use Friday, Saturday, Sunday as big record days. It doesn't seem like there's as much extra bullshit going on. Last week, Saturday, I locked myself in here for probably 8 hours and recorded. And I was so hyper from it, though, that I was done recording. I was like, all right, I'm going to do drums now because I haven't done drums for 3 weeks. And I recorded 2 drum videos.
It's great, right? Because you're in that mode. Your brain switches on, basically, and you get to focus on this one idea. That's where it's key to me. Is if you're bouncing around from this to this to this to this to this, it's like your brain just gets exhausted. Like, man, what am I doing even?
Well, that's where I feel like weekdays are hard. Even today, I woke up, I finished an edit on a video, posted that video, did a little keywords from our video that we did, posted a tab. It's just my brain isn't in the mode of let's go sit here and practice for 2 hours.
Right.
So I think having separate days just for that, I think are nice. But obviously there's other tasks that need to get done. That is the problem. Yeah. Now, if I scroll a little farther, it looks like I said something funny and you laughed.
Well, I think it's your arm gesture really is what brings it home to me.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I guess all right. Could have been something I said. And then John and I are doing these weekly meetings, and I think those are fun and different. And I think they'll continue. I'm trying to look for synergy with everything. So you just finished up Dreams run through along with a couple other ones. And so I ran through Dreams today, and John and I are going to talk about it tomorrow in a video. But I'm like, Dreams, cool. Obviously Stevie Nicks and I have a very similar voice. So what I want to do is I want to work on that song as a whole. Making a serious point here again. We probably do have more similar voices than I will give credit for. She's very nasally and low. So I have a goal. I
You got the nasally thing, yeah.
yeah, I got that's half of it.
Because I'm Tom Petty.
I heard I sounded like Johnny Cash on Higher Ground last night.
Really?
Yeah,
So like you had like a 4 notes in your range? Is that what you mean by
so
that?
Johnny Cash, yeah. I think they heard the riff and thought of Johnny Cash for whatever reason.
I could think of the Rusty Cage song.
Yes, I could think of that one as well. That's all I could. When they gave me that compliment, I was like, oh, okay, I can hear that.
Which is funny because when I came up with that riff, I had never heard Rusty Cage.
Yeah, I would not be
Yeah.
surprised if you would never heard of Rusty Cage before.
No, the only reason I ever heard that song was because it was an MBTM song.
Yeah,
Right? It was like
yeah.
it came through the cycle, and I had to review it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, wow, this is kind of a cool tune. Oh, wow, that riff is a lot like the one that I just wrote a few months ago.
And you know it's not a Johnny Cash song originally, right?
Oh, who is it?
Soundgarden.
Oh, okay. Is that the
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
So it was Soundgarden and then became Johnny
yeah,
Cash.
yeah.
All right, I thought it was the other way,
Oh,
as
gotcha.
happens often,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, he had, and actually, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers played on that full album, which I'm sure I've mentioned 17 times. Um, but he was just doing a ton of covers, and that kind of acoustic rock sound that he had over and over again was what he was going for.
Okay.
So let's cap this. So I talk in the beginning about being end cap. Being the cat wrangler and the correlation between lack of boundaries, and then at the end of the article, I talk about being burnt out.
Yes, which they go so well together.
Um,
One does lead to the other.
yeah, which is kind of my goal of being locked away in a barn. Is you would think that no one would ever communicate with me or want to talk to me because I'm a barn person now.
Instead of a cat person, you become a barn person.
I'm a cat barn. I have no cats in here because I'm allergic, but I'm a cat barn person. Like I love this idea of like being secluded where nobody knows who I am. And actually, when I shaved my head and trimmed my beard, the lady at the gym was like, "Oh yeah, I could recognize you because of the tattoos, and you're tall and you always wear black." And I was like, "Oh, I kind of wanted to disappear." And she's like, and then I mentioned that I live in a barn.
So you were flirting with her, is what you're saying.
I thought I was. She was like mid calling the cops, like, oh my, like I felt like an idiot because I was just like, yeah, I kind of wanted to look like someone else. And she's like I sound like a killer.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're starting to look like one.
I look like you.
Like I said. I said what I said. I meant what I meant.
So, but part of my thinking is the more we can say no to, the more we can say yes to the things that we want. I mean, as simple of a phrase that is, it's very true.
Well, I like to say no to sobriety, so I can say yes to substances, right? That's how that works.
All right.
Things that we want.
I guess that's the way that we could take it. I was saying like responsibilities or, if I help this person with this chord sheet, it's going to take away from 30 minutes of my time. And then chances are I'm not going to have the energy to put my stuff first.
Right. Or if you set up everything for an entire cover band, you're going to be busy for like a month.
Yes. Pissy for a month. Yes. Same thing. But it's a work in progress, right? I think there's a lot of carryover from when I ran the studio. I like busy work. I'm good at busy work. I'm better when I stay busy, but I need to have priorities and do my stuff first.
Right. Well, and when I caught you at the studio, I mean, as soon as I started there, you were already like burned out. You just you were working through it because you had no choice.
That was the last 5 years of running the studio. I was burnt out. So,
But it wasn't a wonder why. I mean, I remember that Tom Petty shoot. I know it's too soon to ever bring that up again. But, like, you so have this mentality of do everything yourself.
Yeah.
Every little detail you take care of. Like, zero delegation of duties, or at least minimal delegation.
No, you painted that wall.
I get that. I get that.
No, it's tough.
Yeah, it's true. I did paint that wall.
You know, I've always struggled with this, and I make the comment a lot that I was really good at teaching, better at teaching than I was at playing, obviously, but also I can't teach somebody how to do the task that I want them to do in a way that I want them to do it. You know what I mean?
Well, that and the time to teach them to do it versus just doing it yourself, right? There's that trade-off.
But you know, and that's where some of my frustration goes. It's like, hey, people, if I figured out how to do X, Y, Z, you can figure it out too. I'm not that smart. So if I figure out how to make really nice chord sheets, you can figure out how to make really nice chord sheets.
Well, and it's that caring aspect, like actually giving a shit about what you're doing. Like, so a lot of times, and this is what you see. I would say you can extrapolate this to like a big franchise. Maybe it started off as like one shop, one store, one restaurant, and it was really good, high quality, lovely atmosphere, lovely people, lovely service. And then you spread it out across the country, thousands of branches of it, and all of a sudden, everything about it turns to shit.
Well, it's McDonald's now.
Yeah.
You know, but
and it's like, well, frankly, you can't get that much care from people, right? You're not going to get that same level of attention to detail and attachment to the result.
Which and somebody said once, it's like, don't hand in everything, and I don't agree with this yet, but don't hand everything in as an A+. You know, be okay. Choose what has to be an A+, and choose what can be a C. And I think there's some wisdom to that of saying, yeah, if I put 100% energy into everything, there's nothing done.
Well, I mean, that totally applies to my experience at music school. I mean, there was no even getting above a D- for me there. You know, I was like, that was that was my highest goal, because most days I would just totally fail.
Yeah.
But if I could get a D- here and there, it's like woo, nailed it.
How often do you go through your old books from college?
Once in a while, I'll open it up. The thing is, the material is so dense that I can open it up like once a month and have enough to work on for the next month. You know, like open up to one page and be like, oh, I had 1 week to learn this along with like 8 other classes worth of material, and I can spend a month on it.
Yeah.
Like, no wonder.
Well, and I still have my old books from college, which was very, very, like, so they had a Juilliard professor, came in second semester, and the expectation went from here to here. Same book.
I see.
Same book. And also the book was like, chapter 3 all of a sudden was light speed, and I was just like, I quartal harmonies, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, quartal harmonies are cool though. I like those.
Yeah.
I remember learning about those and using those. I still try to employ them. I did a cover of Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, and since I didn't have like a, I don't know, whatever keyboard synth that Waters was playing, I didn't have that, so I just did I made up like a quartal harmony thing on guitar and played it for the backing of the solo.
Nice.
And it sounded pretty cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Well, I didn't learn it, so, you know, yeah, but...
Well, it's a pretty simple idea. We'll not really go into it, but it's just building chords off of fourths. Why it's quartal, right?
Okay, so break down key of C. So if I played a C chord...
So, then you would build up in fourths. So, what's a fourth above C?
Oh, that was a time delay. My FaceTime, it was an F. It's an F, though. My FaceTime broke right there. I wasn't doing this. C, D, E, F. Yeah.
Well, what's a fourth above F?
B. F, G, B, C. B flat.
B flat. Yeah. Yeah. Some it was close.
Is this going to be on the test?
Right, and so we'll just stop there, but C, F, B flat, and you have, it's like a quartal.
So wait, are you playing,
already,
if I was playing
right?
on the piano, it would be a C chord, an F chord, and a B flat chord all together?
No, notes, C note, F note, B flat note, to make that chord. So essentially you have like a C7 sus.
Got you. Why would you call it a C7 sus? I mean, is that what they're leading towards if I would have read the next page?
Well, the idea that they're leaning towards is building chords out of fourths, but then you look at what notes you're playing, and you can figure out what that chord is. So when you have a C, F, B flat, that's a C7 sus. Would be one interpretation of it. Obviously, there's others, but
okay.
Yeah.
Things got deep there for a hot minute, huh? I was like, I got our arpeggios done, motherfucker. Can we can we bask in that sun for a hot minute before we move on to that one? Woo. I haven't done it this week yet, but I'm gonna get back into the arpeggios. I just did, I think, all of key of C except for the, would it be a B diminished? Is that right?
B diminished.
Yeah,
This
would be the
seventh.
Would be the last note, last chord that I have to do. What would you recommend that I do next?
So you're in the key of C, and you've gone through all the arpeggios, and you got the B diminished.
And
one
I
off,
stayed in.
what you're saying.
Is it first position? When we play it how you showed me.
What's the shape for the C chord in that position? I don't remember what position that was anymore.
It's an A shape.
An A shape.
Yeah.
Then that would be second position.
So should I learn? Would first position be a lot of open notes then?
Yeah, I wouldn't. There's no harm in learning open position, but I would just go up to the next one. So
Okay.
if you're A shape, go to the G shape.
G shape. All right. Writing that down because memory isn't what it used to be or ever. Cool.
And then what I'm a big fan of, like once, and this would be the next step beyond that, but once you get the G shape down, you have the A shape and the G. So position 2 and 3, once you got those down, then you could practice, like, say, playing up the arpeggio in position A and down the arpeggio in position G, and then like rotating between them.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit like quartal.
Because then you can connect to the fretboard, right?
Yep. And
it's breaking out of being stuck in a position and being able to like flow between them.
Which I think is a huge issue for everybody. Right?
Well, yeah, because there's two ways of moving on the guitar fretboard. It's vertical and horizontal, right? So maybe you can play up a scale on one string, right? And so that's your horizontal movement. Or you can play up a scale on all strings, and that's your vertical movement.
Yeah.
But being able to combine those is where the freedom really comes from.
Gotcha. For sure. The limitations otherwise of I can play everything. I mean, it's kind of where open chord players are, right? They're like, I can play a lot of chords over here, and then they'll see somebody playing.
If I get
high.
a capo,
I can play chords everywhere.
Yeah.
And again, it's fine if you start there. It's a good place to start. But then if you're not evolving, that's the big thing. If you're not evolving, I think across the board.
Yeah.
Evolution. Yeah. Cool. All right. Any
Evolution.
other thoughts, comments, sayings, aspects?
Plenty, but they can wait. They can wait. I can ramble for endless hours.
Yeah, you're a big talker. You just never shut your mouth. Who is this? Well, cool. All right. Well, I think that was a good breakdown, and we'll do more.
All right. Well, see you next time.
Cool. I already ended the video in my mind over there.
Cool.